All right, welcome to another mobility session. Let's start by finding a nice comfy spot on your mat, facing up, taking your attention to your breath. Find that pace of breath that allows your mind to start to calm and slow down. It can be helpful to count your breaths. And depending on your lung capacity, you might count in for 4 or anywhere up to 8 or 10. Just find a pace that works for you. Should be no stress involved with your breathing. If breathing at a pace adds to your stress, just focus on finding a nice, calm, relaxed headspace. Today's routine, we're focused on the hips. So we'll take a little body scan through the hips. Let's take our attention into those quads. On your next breath out, letting those quads and thigh muscles and hamstrings all just deflate. Let all that tension just sift away. Feel your legs get nice and heavy and sink into your mat. Now take our attention into the glutes on your next breath. As you let go, let those glutes just slowly let go of tension as those lungs are letting go of air. And feel those hips sink heavy into your mat. Keeping your focus on finding a nice, calm, relaxed headspace. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll start with the left quad. So let's grab those lacrosse balls. Or if you have a kettlebell handy, we can do a kettlebell option. We're going to demonstrate the lacrosse ball. So start by going face down on that lacrosse ball and just pan through that whole quad. It's a big muscle group. It tends to carry stress in different areas depending on what you've been up to, your sleep schedule, your stress levels, your anatomy. So do some searching, look for where you're carrying tension in that quad. And when you found that area, do your best to ground yourself back in your breath, doing your best to sink your lungs to that target tissue. As your lungs let go of air, let those quads let go of tension and submit to the stretch. Keeping a nice, calm, relaxed headspace. Leveraging in just amount of tension into that quad lets the tissue settle down. Now let's take one more calming breath here. Long, slow breath, directing that air deep into the belly. We'll slowly sigh out that breath and turn our attention to the right quadricep. Let's do some panning. You may find this quad is very different than the left side, or it may be the very same. It really depends on your own anatomy and your posture and how much you've been sitting or driving. So do some experimenting here. Feel out where you've got tension, and then settle back to your breathing. Doing your best to sink your lungs to your target tissue. As your lungs let go of air, let those quads let go of tension. And as they start to let go, if you feel like we can increase that tension and pressure. As long as we're not diving into pain, as long as nothing in the other areas are tensing up around it. We don't want to undo our work. So just find that happy level of tension and pressure that lets that quad start to release itself and free itself up for better movement. We'll take one more breath here. And let's slowly let go of that air through the nose Then we'll move into the glutes. So left side glute, we'll go face up on your lacrosse ball and start by doing some searching through that glute. You might find there's a bit of extra tension on the outside of the glute or the upper band of the glute where the butt meets the back. Really depends, again, on what you've been up to, activity-wise, sitting-wise, sleeping-wise, where your body's carrying tension. And once you've done that search and you found a good target for today, settle back in to your breath, doing your best to sink through your lungs to that target tissue. So as you let go of air, imagine breathing out any tension we're carrying, any stress you're carrying, letting your breath carry you to your happy place mentally, and keeping that pace with your breath that allows things to slow down. I'll take one more breath here. Take your time sighing out that breath. And we'll switch to the opposite glute. So again, let's pan through this side. Don't necessarily assume it's going to feel the same as your left. It's going to really depend on your hip imbalances, if there are any, or hip rotations. So do that experimenting, do your diligence. And then when you found your target area, experiment with the angle that we're applying that pressure and the amount of pressure we're applying. Generally, more pressure is going to give us a stronger release. But we don't want to dive into so much pressure that we've got pain or any added tension. Mentally staying in your happy place, allowing that target tissue to settle down and submit to this position. And every chance we get, centering yourself back in your breathing, directing that air deep into the lower abdomen. Breathing through the nose if you can, to help stimulate your parasympathetic, relaxing state that stimulates healing and rest. And let's get into some left IT band. And we say IT band, we've got IT really in quotes. It's really the general area of that left outer quad. It might be right along the IT band, and that's a long muscle that runs all the way from basically the top of your hip down to below your knee, and it does get tense. But focus on whatever in that area is tense. It might actually be your quad, the outer, the vastus lateralis. It's tight. Do your searching. This is going to look a little different for everyone. Find that right location, that right amount of pressure, and then doing your best to sink your breath to this target tissue. You can experiment with the angle we're applying that pressure, the movement. We can literally just sit on top of it and get a benefit. We can get a bit of rolling effect on it. Just feel out what the body needs today. The more we do this, the better we get in tune with what the body needs. Let's take one more breath here. We'll slowly let go of that breath through the nose and take our attention to the right side. So diving into that right IT band, doing your searching through this side. And again, if you're not an anatomy person, don't worry about finding the exact spot of the IT. Just focus on the area and what might be tense along that outside line of your thigh. As long as we're not getting into pain, there's really no wrong way to do this. Just let your body be your feedback. If we're feeling that tissue start to settle down, we're on the right track. And settle back into your breathing, doing your best to target that target tissue. And let it be synced with your lungs. And as you let go of that air, let those IT bands, those outer thighs, let go of tension. I'll take one more breath here. Take your time letting go of that breath through the nose. And we'll work our way into a lumbar traction. And we like to caution this before we get into it. If you have a history of low back stuff, be very gentle as you work your way into this. There's a few versions of lumbar traction. The most accessible is if you just prop yourself up at a ledge on a bench or a countertop, and then doing your best to let go of tension in that lower body. Let the lower body get heavy, and just heavy enough to give us a subtle pressure release in your low back and your pelvis. If you're feeling any pain, we're just going a little too hard, so just back off on how much we're letting the legs get heavy. Let your core control the amount of stimulus that we need. Let's take one more breath here. Let's sigh out that breath. And we'll move into a left side couch stretch. So on the left side, we'll step the left leg forward into a semi-lunge. Set your back, right leg up against an object, against the wall or a bench or a box. Some flat surface you have handy. And if you don't have a flat surface, a vertical surface handy, just do again dragon pose. And our target here is going to be that right hip flexor. Doing your best to relax that target tissue, using your breathing, letting go of that tension, letting everything get soft, turning off any muscle we don't need. And in a few seconds, we'll gently get active by pressing your right leg into the bench or box. Let's go ahead, starting nice and easy, just gently reversing, pressing the front of the angle into that surface, slowly ramping up tension as we go. Big tension for last 5, 3, 2, 1, and let's gently reverse that, squeezing through the hamstring, actively pulling the heel a little closer to the butt, slowly ramping up tension as we go, and big tension to finish up. 3, 2, 1, big breath out, relax, fall into your passive pose, and submit to the stretch. Focusing back on your breath, relaxing through those hips, finding a nice relaxing headspace, letting everything slow down. Let's take one more breath here, and we'll switch sides. So we'll step the right leg forward, move your left leg up in against that object. And again, if we don't have an object, or if this is too intense of a stretch, you can just move yourself into a dragon pose. Whatever version of this stretch allows you to get that sensation, that lengthening feedback in through your hip flexor and your quad. When you got your right position, it feels like the right amount of stretch for today. Focus back on your breathing, letting your breath calm your mind, and letting your mind calm your body. And in a few seconds, we'll gently get active. And here we go, gently pressing that left leg into the object, slowly ramping up tension as we go. And let's add some big tension to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse, squeezing through the hamstring, trying to pull your heel closer to your butt, slowly ramping up tension. And big tension to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Big breath out, relax. Let go of all that tension. Sigh out the tension that we've got. Mentally find your calm, happy place. Focus on your breathing. Mentally go to your happy place. Let's take one more breath here. Let's sigh it out. And move into a left side pigeon. So stepping that left leg forward, dropping your knee out to the side. Targeting that outer hip. So being delicate as we get into this. If we're feeling any pain or discomfort in your knee, just shuffle your position. Sometimes just changing the knee angle a little bit will let you focus your attention more on the hip. You can also adjust how deep you're going into the stretch. You might find going not quite all the way down with your shin to the floor is all we can handle for today. Just shuffle your position, do some experimenting, find the right position and the right amount of stretch that it feels like your body needs today. And in a few seconds, we'll gently get active. And as we get active, pressing that lead heel into the floor. Let's go ahead, starting nice and easy. Slowly ramping up tension as we go. And big tension here to finish up. Let's release, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse that. Imagine squeezing your ankle and hips closer together, slowly ramping up tension as we go. And big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Let's let go of all that breath. Let everything get soft, everything get passive. Let go of any tension anywhere in your body that we got right now. If your face is tense, let go of it. If your traps are tight, let go of it. Your feet, your target tissue. Just turn off any muscle we don't need right now. Let's take one more breath here. Slowly let go of that breath and we'll switch sides. Stepping that right leg forward, dropping your right knee off towards the floor to target that right side hip. And again, just being delicate as we get into it. If there's any discomfort in the knee, shuffle your position so we are able to target that hip without compromising your knee. And whatever version of this stretch you find, it may look very different than it does in the video, and that's okay. Your body is a better stimulus and guide than how someone else looks in this stretch. And once we're there, focus back on your breath. Work our way through this. Let's let that hip relax. And in a few seconds, we'll gently get active by pushing down that right heel. Let's go ahead, starting nice and easy. Slowly ramping up that tension as we go, pressing that heel down. Let's go with big tension here to finish up. Squeeze, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. And gently reversing. Imagine pulling your ankle and hips closer together. Slowly ramping up tension as we go. Let's got some big tension for the last 5, 3, 2, 1. Let go of all that breath. Relax. And find your nice happy place mentally. Finding that pace of your breath lets you get nice and calm, nice and relaxed. Relax through those hips. Let's take one more long, slow inhale here. We'll slowly let go of that breath, and we will call it a day. Thanks for joining us here today for today's mobility session. Hope the hips are feeling great. If you enjoyed this session, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.